Good morning, Michigan. It is a very solemn Saturday outside, at least out my window. Uh, Not much of this sunshine going on here yet, but figured we might try a new background for these Saturday morning coffee talks. Now, the other background is still there. That is still there, but we figured we might switch it up a little bit, give a little bit of calming in the morning while people enjoy their coffee and sit here and learn a thing or two. Now, the reason that we decided to do these is because of a multitude of reasons. People are always sometimes confused about the information that they're receiving, and a lot of times people just don't know where to begin. They want to look for stuff, they want to find out information for themselves, but they don't know exactly where to begin with things. And we decided that these might be a good use of time and resources and energy to be able to sometimes walk you guys through how to find these things, how to find out the information that you want to know, that you're digging for, that you might want answers to. So, for the first episode today, we're just going to keep it a little bit simple. We're going to do something really simple and easy this morning, something that anybody can go and look up and find. And it's a good starting point. And it's dealing with our elections and with our election laws and understanding the processes and how everything is supposed to go. I would, if somebody is looking into anything dealing with how their county should be acting, how their state should be acting, how poll workers, election workers, challengers, your Secretary of State, your local clerks, what your sheriffs are accountable for. There's so many things that can be easily found. Things that can arm you better than you could ever imagine just from a simple, quick search. And that's what we're going to be covering for you guys this month. So, my advice, if you're looking for something like this, if you were looking for, let's say, you wanted to know who handles absentee ballots in an election, in a statewide or federal election, my first thing that I would do is I'm going to come to a website such as this, which this you can, and now with these episodes, there's going to be a lot of links and a lot of pages and a lot of sources that are covered. So if any of you ever have any questions about anything, or you want more information on something, or specific links for articles, you're more than welcome to message. Uh, you can reach me on Facebook. Mine's O Michigan, because for whatever reason, I'm not allowed to be affiliated with the state of Michigan unless I have official credentials. Not like that matters to Facebook anyway. They shut me down in every other aspect. But this one, you're going to be able to find this right at legislator.michigan.gov. It's going to bring you right into the main website for this. I'm already a couple pages in at this point, but you can follow along right here on the side and know what you've clicked into, where you're at, and it's going to give you this nifty little search bar at the top of the page for your Michigan election law. And let me see here. This is what we're going to do. If anybody wants to take a peek at this page, at the um, address for it, we're going to do something here really quick. We're going to pull this down. And here is the website. If anybody would like to take a screenshot or a picture, then you'll be able to find that later. If not, you can always message me afterward, and I'll be able to get you any links for anything that you might want. It's not a problem ever. Um, just like I said, message me, let me know, and we'll get those out for you. But I would recommend this as a really great starting point. It's going to cover a lot of things in here for you. It's going to cover all your definitions of what they're when they say certain words throughout the rest of their bills and the regulations and the laws. That's what they're going to be referring to. So it's kind of like a glossary or an index of all the terms, all the fancy pantsy things that they're going to use and say and do throughout these. It may be boring, but it's quite useful. And when you're looking through these things and trying to understand these laws for yourself and trying to understand what they're saying, it becomes a really good source. So I would definitely advise going over the definitions. Chapter 3, the duties of the Secretary of State. Fantastic one right there. Absolutely fantastic on that. That's going to show you a lot of how things are supposed to be handled, how things are supposed to go, what is supposed to be turned in by certain dates by the end of the night on election night. That's going to show you a lot of things as the duties of the Secretary of State, because she has a lot of things, or they have a lot of things and a lot of duties that they are supposed to be doing and that they're supposed to do regarding our elections and how they're handled and how they're managed. And that's a big portion of the problem of what we've seen in this past election is a complete breakdown in the chain of command. And just so you guys know, every episode of our show on Saturday mornings is going to last about the length of a cup of coffee. So if that coffee takes 15 minutes, then we have a 15-minute episode. If that coffee takes a half hour, we have a half-hour episode. And it'll just go by the coffee. We'll let the coffee decide every weekend. How about that? But as I said before, the main thing that I want to do with these Saturday morning coffee talks with all of you is to get you get you armed. I've gotten to the point where I have so many people that message or comment or say, "Hey, where can I find this?" or "Hey, how did you find that?" or "Where can I go for this?" or so many things, so many things. So I figured, just what better way than to just teach people how to find the information and how to get it for themselves. So as you go down through this section, it's going to show you more and more of um, what you may be looking for, depending on what you're searching for. Delegates, conventions, and party committees. That'd be a really helpful thing for what's going on right now, as well as the primary elections section here. Uh, we're going to be dealing with that a lot coming up. The registration of electors. That's another big important one. Are people getting registered to vote? When are they registering to vote? Um, how many people are still registered to vote that shouldn't be registered to vote, that are still in the QVF? All important things. Special primaries and elections. We just seen one of those in our state here not too long ago. Um, Canvas, the county canvas, the state canvas, determination of election by lot, recounts, whole chapter on recounts. These, if we don't start with an informed population, we don't really have a base to stand for or stand on, because you can have 5 people that say this till they're blue in the face. Trust me, I know, I live it. You can have 5 people that say this till they're blue in the face, but if you have 50 that sit there and chant it and know Knowledge is your most powerful tool. Knowledge is power. Truly. It truly, truly is. And that's a big part of what we want to try to do for you guys with doing this. Now, the one big, uh, nice tool that you can use on here is, as you can see, I've searched for um, various things over the time of my research, and you can type in something such as absentee and search. And now this is going to give you every section or chapter that has anything to do with um, absentee ballots. Or if you wanted to find out anything that can be done locally by your sheriff or your prosecuting attorney. What can be done in election situations where you think there's been something done wrong and you want it to be handled at the most base level possible. You can go and look at how to have your sheriff deal with situations, how to have your prosecuting attorney deal with situations, and these can be handled right on spot on election day. These officers and these people that are supposed to be of assistance on election day, you'll find in sections such as these that they can be called upon at any time or point during election day or leading up to election day if there's cause for concern of anything being illegitimately handled. And that is going to be a major thing that comes up, especially in this midterm coming up. People are going to have a lot of questions. People are going to have what they may deem currently, it may or may not turn out to be that way, but people are going to have a lot of things that are cause for concern to them. And there's no better way than to have a tool like this on hand, especially if you're a poll worker, you're an election worker, you're working on the day of the election, you may or may not see something when you're there voting. This is a amazing tool to have at your disposal because then all you have to do is pop it up, go into your search bar, say you're concerned with a ballot marking device, a pen, a Sharpie, a digital marking device. Let's see. And the one thing with this website is it will take you into subsections of subsections. So you always want to make sure that you are back at the beginning. You always want to make sure that you are back at the beginning of your search. Okay. Make any marking on the ballot by marking the ballot. Now, it didn't give me exactly what I was looking for, but it gives you an example of how easily you can search our entire um, legal system. And mind you, this is just the excerpts dealing with specifically Michigan election law. But you can do this with any section of our entire legislative process. You can use this website and go in and go to a different page, go to a different subsection. Say you want to know parental rights in a certain situation. You can still, once again, legislator.michigan.gov, and you can search here down the side and look for whatever section it might fall under of what you're looking for. And then you can go further and further and further into that and utilize the search bar and find what you're looking for. But today I wanted to use this as the example because it's a main cause for concern for everybody, and a lot more people would like to be armed better when it comes to knowing how these processes work. I've had questions of how do precinct delegates work? How do what powers do poll challengers or poll watchers have? and you know, and I can give so much information, but it is always better for you guys to know this, for you guys to have this, to be armed with this, because not only do you have it, but then the person that you talk to when you're at the next event or the next rally, somebody doesn't know something that you know, and they know something that you don't know. That's why we go to the. That's should be part of the reason why we continue to go to these things is to continue to learn. And when we go back to our districts and we go back to our counties and to our clerks, we are better informed. We have more information to be able to stand on our own 2 feet when we don't have 500 people behind us, because we all know that that gets a lot harder. Not for some. People can be very assertive, but getting people more information, because like I said, not everybody knows everything. And I know that when I go to these events, I like to come off of them with some sort of takeaway, something that I've learned that I didn't know when I got there, or something that somebody has given me or better armed me with. And that's what I want all of this to be for you, for all of you guys. You know, like I said, feel free to message me. I can get you any links to anything that might come up in these episodes. I like them to be in message form because then they're specific and they're a lot easier to keep up with, especially if it ends up being an old episode. If somebody sees this further on down the road, then it's a lot easier for me to be able to specifically target what they might be talking about or what they might be looking for, because I never have a problem in getting somebody more knowledge or having somebody be able to defend themselves in a certain situation a lot better. Because that's what we have to do. We have to be there for each other. If we're not there for each other, we lose no matter what. It doesn't matter if it doesn't matter if we take people out of seats of power or the elite fall. If we're still all coy to one another and we don't trust our neighbors, the end result is still in the end what they wanted. So go spread this information. Tell it to people that might not have it. Tell it to people that might not even want to listen. I don't do politics. You hear that all the time. Well, if you don't do politics, then don't complain about the problems that you have in your life. That's the way I look at it. If you don't do politics, then don't sit and complain when you go and pay almost $4 a gallon for gas at the pump. Don't say I don't do politics, and then when you're going and paying almost $5 plus at the grocery store for a hamburger, don't tell me and cry to me about how you have problems. It takes all of us to stand up against this. I sound like I'm beating a dead dog every time I say it, but it can't be said enough. It takes all of us to do this. And something like this will be so valuable to you guys. So valuable, especially come this midterm. You guys get this, you guys get on this website and get into this election law, you guys are going to be armed to the teeth. Ain't nobody going to be able to stop you in what you know and what you're capable of. You will be able to see the true power of even one person. You arm yourself with something like this. This is a good chunk of how I know so much that I know in the election process, how I'm able to stand toe to toe with Senator McBroom in text messages all the way up to the point where he don't want to talk to me no more because he knows that I've out intellected him, because I can sit there and tell him things that are in Michigan election law that he has no clue about, that he doesn't know was allowed or that was supposed to happen. Never to toot my own horn, but this is a prime example of the problems that we have. The people that are elected to represent us, and they don't even know how to fulfill their duty of what they ran for. These are the important questions for these representatives and people that want to run to represent you as well. Do they know these things? Do they know these parts of the process? Now, somebody like Christina Caramo, who's running to be Secretary of State, you ask her this stuff? Because I have. And she's always on par with me. You ask her about this stuff, she'll be able to cite you the section, the subsection, the bylaw. It don't matter, right down to the T. And that's exactly what we want. Somebody like Senator McBroom, that currently sits as a senator, that headed the election oversight committee, the election oversight committee, for him to not know a good majority of what's in here tells me that he shouldn't even have been doing that job in the first place. And that he definitely doesn't know what it all entails. These people just run for these positions or want to be elected to these positions because it sounds glorious. It sounds fantastic. It saves the day. Be the one that says or does something that makes a difference in the situation. But when a senator has 3 different excuses and 4 different reasons for why he can't produce documents that you end up having to get through a FOIA request, we have a huge problem, especially when that person wants to lead an election oversight committee. We have a severe problem. And once again, having things like this will allow you to know and to hold that power and to know what it truly means that this country is we the people. Because when you can hold that power and when you know how things are right and wrong, and when you know for fact, because these documents gave it to you, protected these rights, these God given rights to you, and these things that we're allowed to do in our state, once you hold that power of that knowledge, it's uncomparable. It's almost a rush when you're able to talk to these senators and these representatives and you know that you have the upper hand of them. You don't feel like you're a victim to this system anymore. You feel like you can actually do something about the situation that's at hand. And there ain't no better feeling than that. When it comes to all of this out here, we have things in our personal lives that are our top moments and always will be. But when it comes to having we the people and owning our country, and when you feel a part of that, there isn't any better feeling. None. Trust me. Trust me on that. And chances are, if you're watching this video, you want part of this knowledge. You want to be able to hold these people accountable to what they do and what they don't do. And it's fantastic to wake up every day and see it more and more. And I love you all for it. I really, really mean that when I say that, because it shows that our army grows stronger every day. Every day. In the spiritual battle, in the physical battle, we see the developments every day. And it's fantastic. I've been doing this a long time. A long time. 15 years. Just right around 15 years. And I can tell you personally, there may be a lot of crap going on right now, but there ain't no better time to be alive because we are seeing it all. And the coffee is about gone, about 25 minutes. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. I really do. I wanted to start actually getting something to you guys, like I said, especially with so many questions and comments from people about asking questions about different articles and how do you find this and how do you do that. It we we want that feeling of gaining knowledge and learning how to protect ourselves more than just going to a rally or going to a convention or being surrounded by people even. We want to feel powerful when we're even standing by ourselves in our local sheriff's department. We want to feel powerful as a person to our rights and what we have guaranteed to us. And I really hope that these episodes will start helping you guys to better arm yourselves with knowledge of how all of this plays into each other and different topics too. There'll be different topics that we cover, everything from private property to your children and parental rights, um, how things work higher up the chain when it comes to land developments and people owning small businesses. We're going to be covering a lot of different subjects, but tell me what's important to you guys. Leave me comments. Any questions that you might have, like I said, you can personally message me. You can leave comments on here. I'll see them. And until I talk to you guys next episode, it's like I tell you all the time,